Hello! Welcome to Sketching with Izzy. We're drawing a Doodlebug today. Doodlebug. I just found this in my, this is actually what I started on Tuesday. It's just this silly sketch I started some time ago in Procreate and never finished. Avid, welcome. Irina, hi. Good to see you on. Thanks for staying up late. Autumn! Good to see you, bud. The mage. Hey, gang. I still have glasses on? No, actually the glasses are on because sometimes when after a shower, my hair gets really, really fluffy and then it hangs down in my face like this. And it looks like I did it on purpose, but I didn't. I hate it. And it's itchy and like I don't know. It just is distracting. So no, the sunglasses are just to keep my hair out of my face. You like that? You like my rock star hair, baby? Yeah, that's the good stuff. I'm good. You know, it's just one of those days. The weather's cleared up a lot here. We had, well, when I say weather, I actually mean the smoke. We've had some pretty heavy rains, so the air has cleaned up significantly. It's actually pretty clear outside and sunny. It's a lovely day. And I'm sitting here painting a Doodlebug, so I think it's all right. Everything shall be all right. It got really cold over there? Oh my god. Are you in hibernate mode? That happens to me too. And I forgot how affected by it, the cold and the gray I get. But now that I'm back in Oregon, it's like some days I didn't get up until way late today. Yeah, it's weird. I think I have that seasonal affective thing because when it's all gray and cloudy and gloomy, I just feel like garbage. I don't want to wake up. I just want to lay in bed, which I'm assuming is the hibernate mode, right? It's just laying in bed, consuming copious amounts of chocolate and pornography, right? Isn't that? I think that's what it is. It's a good thing about SoCal, no such thing as seasons. Well, yeah, you guys have fire season, earthquake season, landslide season, or mudslide, rather. And summer. It's nice. No, I miss that about SoCal. And I mean, after being in Mexico for so long, I really appreciated how mild, even with all of that, even with the heat that LA can get, it's still very mild and pretty, it's... Maybe it's not that it's mild, it's relatively even. It's not so extreme. I dig that. And I love nights in LA in the summer. Like that hot. It's not cool, it's kind of a warm, not muggy. It's so cool. I love it. It's a great feeling. It always feels charged, like electricity. LA's a great town. It's not for everybody. It's probably not even for me, but I still love it. Yeah, riding a bike during summer nights or just going for a walk, heading down to before COVID, heading down to Venice Beach. I loved walking on the beach at night. All the crazy shit you'd see. All I'm doing right now, if you're curious, is I'm dividing up the different elements so it'll be easier to paint. It's pretty straightforward. I definitely can tell that when I was doing this, I was really into the gesture of the bug, and I hadn't really worked out, like, the perspective of the TV is wrong. The room, I don't even know how that's going to work. I'll probably try and make it into some kind of tree, like a tree hollow, something like that, just to kind of stick with the conceit of my little story here. This cute little creature watching his stories. I wish I was good at puns, because then I would come up with a whole bunch of soap opera Bug's Life puns. I'm sure you guys are clever. You can come up with something for me. The only thing with LA in regards to riding the bike that I always had issues with is just the roads were so dangerous. But I've heard like they've made some pretty big leaps and bounds with some of the roads for bike paths and things like that. Much, much better. Ow. Coffee hot. Coffee burn. Ow. Nope, still hot. You ride primarily on the river bike path? It's a great ride. Yeah, what I would do is, like, one of my favorites was in the summer with a couple of my buds. We would ride our bikes from Venice Beach all the way down to Redondo Beach, and we would camp out for the day, have a bunch of beers, a couple pitchers of beers, have some crabs, hang out, and then ride our bikes back against the wind. But at that point, you're like pleasantly buzzing. It was good times. It's really good. All right, let's group all this old stuff. Although inevitably, every time I got back from those trips, my butt, damn, took a pounding. Nothing like riding under the influence, at least on the safety of a bike path, where you're guaranteed not to run into cars. Oh, man. It took me a long time I still haven't got my bike set up. At this time, I didn't have the bike I currently have, but it's taken me a long time to get it set up so that, like, it doesn't cause discomfort. Like, the arrangement, the actual sizing and the fitting of the bike is so important for really long rides, and I didn't know that when I was first starting to do longer rides. It's really important. Oh, you got padded shorts? Yeah, see, I don't even do that. I'm out there in jeans and shit on a little beach cruiser. Yeah, it's a jog. But I did do one. I remember I was in Mazatlan in Mexico. My bike is actually, it's a collapsible bike. It's by this company called Montague, and they make full-sized folding bikes, and they're amazing. Like, so you don't need any crazy tiny wheels or weird replacement parts. It's a bike, but it also folds. It's really clever, their design. So I had that on the boat because having a full-size bike on a sailboat is a pain in the ass. So it was easier in the short term to have a foldy one and keep it snug down in the down below decks when I travel from town to town, because you can't bring your car with you. So my bike was my car. I'd go shopping with my bike. Anyway, I did a really long run in Mazatlan. It's not really that long, actually. It wasn't even as long as the runs to not Cerritos, Redondo Beach. But I did this ride to another beach from Mazatlan. And during that ride, on the way over there, we were going to go have some breakfast burritos or something and some beers and shrimps, because I like the scrampy scramps. We rode over there, and on the way, everything went numb. Everything, like from the pelvis down. Nothing. I couldn't feel anything. It was punching my legs. Like, there was suddenly the absence of my man bits. Like, just nothing. Like, the nerves were all dead. So it was like, when we got there, I got off the bike, I could barely walk. And I was like, what the shit happened? So I was freaking out. Like, I thought like I was having a stroke or something. I mean, dead serious. I thought something really bad was happening. And I started looking online, while we were eating burritos and drinking beers, and discovered that that's something that can happen. Like if your seat isn't arranged in the right angle, that it can pinch off the specific nerves that the pelvis sits on and cause everything to go totally numb. And right around that time is when the pins and needles began. Pins and needles in your leg or your arm, it's a hard time. Let me tell you about pins and needles in your junk. Oh, pins and needles in the junk is not a good feel, my friends. I do not recommend it. Adjust your seats. Oh, welcome, Dan Rob. Yeah, you walked in at the wrong time. You poor bastard. Yeah, it's brutal. Oh, I think I'm going to keep these crazy color... I'm going to use my color brushes for this. For now. We'll see. But I got to figure out what I'm going to do here. Because I kind of like the cast shadows I've got. They're pretty nice. I like how cool they are. I think sometimes I leave sketches like this because it satisfies that particular, I don't know, color itch or whatever. I think this was a color itch and a gesture itch I was trying to satisfy. So all I can really do at this point is mess it up, but it's impermanent. It's not a big deal. Your butt's just puckered. It's just puckered, guys. Some people will pay good money for that. Yes, they would. Is it a maggot cat, this thing I'm drawing? I don't think so. I named the file Doodlebug, so I really don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's a Doodlebug. Let's see. Like this. Not doo-doo bug. Doodlebug. Ah. Yeah, he's got a funny expression. That's why I'm enjoying imagining what show he's watching. Or she. I mean, could be a she. I like the little tentacle mouth I did. The Izzy that painted this is long gone. And with very numb man bits. But here we are. We're gonna try and clean up his mess and see what we can do. See if we can make something of our Doodlebug here. Doodlebug. That's just fun to say. Doodlebug. It's the little things in life. Gotta find your joy. So, how many of you that are on right now are patrons through the Patreon? Is it just a few of you? I know Irina for sure, and Dan Rob. Yeah. Damesh, okay. No, it's not really a poll. I was just wanted to ask because I'm looking at taking this job, and it's going to definitely affect my my lessons. So I was curious if you guys had any input for me on how to handle the transition, because I know that I won't be able to do lessons the same way. So what I'd like to do is to push the Patreon more towards the stream, because this is a little bit more sustainable and easier to do. Because it's all live. I don't need to edit anything. I don't need to plan out a lesson. It's just kind of, it flows. But I would like to keep the Patreon, and I love having that community on the back end. So I'm trying to think of ways that I can work the two kind of into each other and wanted any input you guys might have. We can, of course, talk about it more in the Discord, but I just needed to put it out there that that's something I'm thinking about. You'll get plenty of warning before any big changes happen, just like last time when I added the Student Plus tier. We'll talk about it first and get it all sussed out so everybody's comfortable and ready to keep learning in the new way. It'll be doubly interesting because one of the things that I'm going to be responsible for with this new gig is educating the artists at the different studios that support the primary studio that I'm going to be doing the game art direction on. And so I'll still be teaching, which is interesting, but I need to mess with the format, because I will also have the full-time job of doing art direction. The paint over is the biggest value for you. Okay, that might be something to think about, is making it more of a critique, because a lot of you are getting. A lot of you have stuck with me for a long time. I super appreciate that, and I've witnessed some amazing growth over the months and actually years for some of you, and yeah, maybe it's time to kind of push it into a more advanced, like intermediate advanced teaching system. I know that a lot of the topics I've covered have gotten advanced over the years, but maybe it's time to let the birdies fly and really promote that stuff. I don't know. That's a good idea. That's something to think about. The paint over is a great help. Okay. That's good. Well, I will absolutely be keeping the archive up of the lessons, and I know that I'm not done. The logic of light and color, I think it still has some places to go that I haven't really gone into depth with, or that need greater explanation. But doing it on a monthly schedule, where basically I take like a week and a half. That's how long it takes me to do the whole production and plan it out and all of that stuff, and then film it, edit it. Like, it takes some time. So I need to find a way to lessen the amount of time for prep on the back end for the product, or just make it less frequently. So I don't know. Maybe the logic of light and color will go fully to Gumroad and just be an a la carte system. And then Patreon will be more about the crits and the support for the intermediate and advanced painters. That actually might be the solution. Thanks, Rhea. I'm very glad you like them, and they have been helpful for you. Like I said, I don't want to get rid of the lessons altogether. I just need to slow them down a little bit. I've been doing them. Whoa, Photoshop freaked out a second there. I've been doing them monthly for over 5 years now. There's 66, 65 lessons. Sometimes it's crazy to look back at. When I scroll through that, I'm like, holy shit. I don't even remember some of them anymore. There's some that I would like to go back to, like I've learned things since, you know? But I don't want to do like editions. Like, there's so many artists, they'll do like a book and they just re-release the same book again and again, but they change like 2 or 3 pages. I don't want to do that. I really wanted to make this thing that was like a comprehensive, like, here is everything I have learned about this very specific subject. Go, my pretties. And I think it's been pretty successful in that respect. It hasn't. I don't have the public response to it that I would have liked, but that's all right, because in the end, I mean, it's still there. It's not like it goes away. God damn it. Am I allowed to talk about the new job? Sure. I haven't actually signed the papers, so I can't really tell you about the project or anything yet. But I can tell you a little bit about what my role would be and things like that if you're interested. You've just upgraded to Student Plus tier for the feedback, but you don't think you'll be able to afford it every month. That's totally fine. And then, I mean, hey, Irina, you watch all the time. Check out the Z-Bolts rewards down below at the bottom of the chat. You should see that if you're following, you're accruing points. You can use those coins in order to do, like, I have it set up so you can do a lot of fun, silly stuff with me in chat. But then there's also some things that are going to be real beneficial where you get to experience like what it's like, as a patron. You already know what it's like. But one of the rewards is crits. So, that's another way that you can do this without, needing to do needing to pay. Yeah, absolutely. Take your time. And the other thing you can do is, probably I shouldn't even say this, but you could, if you wanted to, put on the, you could put the, put your Twitch on when you're not watching it and just let it run with the mute on, and you'll accrue points. I believe that does work. I don't know. Shh, I didn't say that. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, 12K, you're halfway there. All right. Wheel of Art Direction. Oh my goodness. What? All right, here we go. Ba-bam! Hey, look! It's the Wheel of Art Direction. So exciting. For those of you that don't know, the Wheel of Art Direction is a fun little game that we play here on Sketchin' with Izzy, where we mimic the experience of having an art director come in and completely destroy the direction of whatever it was you were doing. Oh, Autumn, you can't get enough of this. You haven't seen this one before, Dan Rob? We've only done it once, I think, but it's worthwhile because what I've done here is I've assembled all of these different directions. They were taken from... I'll be in my bunk. Yes. Yeah, right? So I've taken all of these different directions that I've actually gotten from real art directors and mixed it in with some that were gotten from the Pocket Art Director game, which is just a set of dice which have some goofy art direction on them, in case you're missing what it feels like to have random direction that's very difficult to understand. Because I think it's one of the important skills about concept art and illustration is learning how to take critique, feedback, direction from somebody that doesn't speak our language. So here we go. We're going to roll the Wheel of Art Direction. Perfect. Oh, shit. Oh, no! Oh, Hammy, I fucking hate you, buddy. I hate you so much. Oh, the entire conceit of this thing is that it's cartoony. Make it less cartoony. So that always comes with an accent, because I had an art director who was Welsh, and he was not gifted with the verbiage, shall we say, for the artist. He loved art. He was an art collector, but he could not communicate his ideas very well. So we had to learn how to kind of extrapolate what he meant. And one of his favorite things was to say, I know it's not a Welsh accent. I can't do a Welsh accent. But I was just saying I'm doing it in an accent because that's how we always heard it. And it was always, make it less cartoony. It was very weird. Yeah, he also would say, make it more rock and roll, which I think is on here also. I'm not sure. All right, let's switch back. Ba-ba, ba-ba. All right. Thank you for that. You're an awful person, Hammy. You need to ride on a bike until your junk goes numb, my friend. I only wish the best for you. Well, shit. Okay, so what could we do to make this less cartoony? I think the biggest... it's all cartoony. What we'll do is we'll just pick one feature to make less cartoony, and I think it will be... It'll have to be something on the figure. but it's going to cascade everywhere. We could just make the colors less cartoony. So maybe less saturated. The legs are too cute and little. He's got his little hoofies, his little hoofykins. Invert my inclinations. The only thing I know is me fun way. We've had game designers give some random feedback, then the art director tried to translate it. Yeah. I think a good art director, that's their job, is to be the buffer between all of the other disciplines and the artists, and communicate and defend their artists, communicate for them, but then also take everything that's feedback from the outside, condense it and simplify it and turn it into art speak, and then give that back to the artists so that everybody's getting what they want. That's a big part of it. Legs. Oh, do you mean just give it actual, like, little human legs, like little... Yes. All right, that's what we're doing. Absolutely. This is it. These will be super realist. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Everybody's sane here. Perfect. I know that's probably not what you meant, but I'm running with it because it made me laugh. And that's how I do things. Lovely. I gotta do me. That's all I can do. I did know a fellow. He was not a cruiser, but he was an expat that lived in Mazatlan, and he was Welsh, and we would have a few, and then he would tell me about, like, the bus stops in Wales, and describe, like, the names of the different towns and shit. It's like it was like some kind of weird bubble language. It always made me laugh. When I hear sort of phrases and things like that, a number of times I can usually mimic them. I cannot mimic the Welsh at all. This is wrong. This is beyond wrong. Everything about this. You meant intonation. The Welsh accent is flipped. If you normally go from low to high in a sentence, it's the other way. Ah, I see. So, of course, we're going to have to light these. They should be, let's make them purpley, I think, because it's kind of the color of the guy. Or critter, whatever the hell this thing is. The Doodlebug. So I'm just going to light it as though it was being fully litten? What? Without fussing about the cast shadows of the windows and things like that. I can carve those back out. I just need the main information first. All right. And we can do cast shadows from these. Cast shadows cannot compound in your form shadows. Always be careful of that. Oh my god. Oh Jesus. I think this might be a cursed image. I really do. Hey Liggins, how's it going? Welcome. How you doing today? I am painting a Doodlebug. And no, I am going to say that a lot today because I need the cheering. And it's a funny word. Take that, art director. Rah. So how I would actually handle this, because I didn't want to completely ruin what we were going for the game show. What I would do if a director came to me and said, "With this, this is too cartoony," I would start over. There is nothing that I could take from this that would really transfer to realism unless I basically made the whole thing hyper realistic. And even then, if the art director meant like it's too not believable, then me making it hyper realistic isn't going to make it more believable. It's just going to make it better lit. So that would require clarification with your art director. You'd have to ask, hey, like, so when you say this, do you mean that the expression is too cute? Or do you mean like the colors are too vibrant? What are you after? Yeah, a big part of dealing with art director, or just dealing with anybody that's going, if you have a client, let's say like in Irina's case, you're doing cover art for books, right? So the client, very often with book art, clients, they don't really understand the art aspect side at all. So you need to develop a lexicon of questions to help clarify in a leading way to get your client to explain better what it is they're after. Because more often than not, they just don't have the verbiage to communicate. So in a lot of ways, it's more about how you ask questions for clarification than it is about just painting it differently. If you do only ever just paint differently instead of going back and forth and not challenging, but trying to work some specifics out of your art director, you're going to piss them off because you're not going to be answering the things that they think they're telling you that are obvious, and you're going to get super burnt out really fast. So you gotta really work on your communication skills. A huge part of what we do is communication. I mean, that is what this is. It's VisCom, right? Visual communication. But when it comes to clients, it's a big part of the job. And that's another thing. It's a skill set that many prospective employers can recognize. So if you spend the time to really work on your diplomacy and communication skills, that can make you a much greater asset for a big studio if you're trying to get work. I recommend putting time. You got to put some of your experience points into those perk slots of communication. All right. The William S. Burroughs thing. Maybe those legs are prosthetics. Nice. I like it. Like they sit on top of his little hoofy nubs. You were just doing a commission and someone asked you to change the color of something and was super grateful, like changing to color of something was hard. Oh, yeah. Awesome. I'm really glad you enjoy it, Liggins. When will the lessons stop? I would like to do... I don't think that they'll stop, but the monthly lessons will potentially end the month after this coming one. I mean, I feel it's too late to cut it off right now because we only have like a week left of this month. Yeah, it would be too soon, and it's not enough warning for everybody. But potentially, so what month is this? Is September? So October is a go. Potentially November is when I will go to a where the schedule will not be monthly anymore. I'll still release lessons, but they'll be a la carte instead. And of course, if you're a patron, then you're going to get discounts for lessons. Cannot stress that enough. Gotten burned because your communication was lacking. Back pocket the ego and learn to breathe before you talk. Yes. Autumn Art is totally correct. That is some wise words. I've been there. I did the same thing. We all learn the hard way, that you gotta pocket the ego. That was a tough one for me, really. So take heed. Thug. Name a layer. The leg layer mistakes were made. Oh, you are single-handedly ruining this painting, sir. I love it. And in keeping with Autumn's wisdom, I wanted to definitely promote his stream. You guys should definitely give him a follow. He's here on Twitch also, and he shares his experiences working as a professional on his channel, and he paints at the same time. It's awesome. He's a funny guy. He's also fun to look at. He's an interesting guy. He's elf man. Yes, you are. It just looks like so much fun. Oh, Dan Rob, you sumbitch. You sumbitch. All right. Well, we tried. And then the art director just shit the bed. Anytime, Autumn. Anytime. I really love your show. I gotta catch it more frequently. Same thing with Daniel's, man. All right, so we're switching back. Here we go. Boom. The wheel of art direction. All right. So, Dan Rob, you horrible, horrible person. Thank you so much for this. You feel like this is very realistic having an actual art director? Do they just come in and go, ba-doom! Put down your stylus. I'm here to shit in your cereal. All right, let's see what happens. Let us roll. Let us spin the wheel of art direction. More friendly. Okay, well, hey, you know what's really creeping me out about this image is the feet, those legs. They're just so realistic. It's not very friendly. So maybe, Well, okay, let's talk about this. What do you think friendly means in this situation? So we're looking at the image. What would how could you make it more friendly? What do you think? If you were doing this, the legs are the friendliest things on this image. What if we put like a little cute slippers on it or something? Hashtag hide the feet. Fluffy socks on the legs. I love it. That's a good idea. That's very friendly. Welcoming. Looks like Snuggies. Interacting with the viewer somehow. That's a tough one because I definitely want them watching the TV or reacting to the TV. We could do a little welcome mat, like right here. That would be weird. Who lays in front of a welcome mat? Implications. All right, let's switch ourselves back. Let's chat here for a minute. Love that the direction was exactly the opposite of the last. That is totally on point from an art director. Yes, that is 100% it. How about plush slippers of himself? That is so fucked up. I love it. Bunny slippers? Yes. Hi, Cypher. Welcome. If it were me, I'd try making the face cuter. The face is so cute. You don't think the face is cute? With his little tentacle face punum? It's adorable. Human slipper. You guys are gonna give me a hernia. Holy shit. Oh my god. The slippers have little prosthetic legs. Oh, Hammy, I think you may need to see someone, my friend. The eyes are creeping you out. Well, once the eyes have speculars and everything, it'll be much cuter and friendlier looking. Oh my god, I think human slippers might be the takers. I don't know, let me see. Bunny slippers, big fluffy socks, plush slippers of himself. I mean, because he's got his legs out like that, I kind of feel like he's showing off something. So maybe it needs to be little slippers of himself. I don't know. Oh my god, this is happening. Oh, jeez. I think you can be sent to prison in some countries for doing this. Oh no. Well, it's definitely gonna look more cartoony again. Maybe I'll try to make the slippers a little bit more Natural shaped. Oh my god. Let's flip it. Check our proportions. Let's So at this point, you must know that I really, really want some plush slippers with my own face on them. So that's a Christmas present for the future, if anybody is so inclined. And it has to be cartoony with a big mustache and a huge brow. Love the plush slippers, human slippers, we got to that. You give him Puss in Boots eyes. Oh, that's true. Big colorful iris would be very friendly. We could do that. Old man slippers. Mandelbrot. Slippers within slippers. Plush slippers of the tentacle dog. Oh, a callback. Callbacks are always good. Callbacks are funny. Was anybody here for the tentacle dog paintings? I don't think so. That was a while ago. Shit, was that first episode or second episode, eh? Yeah, Monty. But before he was named Monty. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. That was a Patreon lesson, wasn't it? See, this is part of the problem. This stuff is getting all mushed together for me. And I do so many shows now. It's like, what is happening? This is a minimum of 9 hours of content a week that I do. So it gets real squishy in my brain, in my mind grapes. Yeah, Monty, that's not a bad idea, actually. Hammy, I like that. Plus, he's got tentacle mouth too, just like Doodlebug. Let's see. I'm gonna try and find my painting. I think it's on here. Let me see. Nope. All right. That's my art station. There's Monty. Ah, some cursed cute action. All right, I think we could probably put his little fluffy head on the slippers. What do you think? Are we in agreement? Is it Monty? Ooh, my slippers could be me with an axolotl hat. There it is. That's the one. Sergio, welcome. How's it going? We are trying to decide what kind of slippers to give the Doodlebug. All right, Monty it is. Let me... I think he might have to have his little mandibles. I actually forgot to include those on the Dasha painting. Oops. It happens. It's all right. He's got these little crabby pedipalps. Do I know what Benoit B. Mandelbrot's middle name is? I do not. I have a feeling this is a setup. What is Mandelbrot's middle name? Well played, sir. Well played. When I was a kid, that is how I visualized infinity. Was instead of thinking of a number that went endlessly in a linear direction, I would actually think about it in letter form. So in my mind, I would count out. So A, I would spell out A, and then for every letter A, B, C, D, E. I would spell that out, and then each one would be spelled out, and it would go, instead of going in one direction, it went like a web in all directions. And so I would sit there looking at the stars, imagining these massive grids of letters. Turns out I was just inventing Jurassic Park before there was Jurassic Park. I'm a genius. I need that Kanye money, baby. Okay, so we have to completely change the values. You know what? I'm just gonna do one of these. Let's do levels instead. My laziness, profound. Just deeply profound. Alright, oops, that is outside the scope of my stylus's abilities. You've recently subscribed and you've got some doubts. Okay, no problem. I will try to get to that later today. Yeah, or if it's something you feel comfortable sharing publicly, we can talk about it here too. It's not a big deal. Up to you. Mandelbrot math, bleh. Fractal nonsense. It's all bullshit. That's why we're on the darkest timeline, you know. Let's say I'm gonna make them big and floppy instead. Even though we're meant to do this a little bit more realistically, I want to kind of get the cartooniness of the... It's too cartoony. Oh, I want that warmth. So what I'm going to do, this is basically how I painted Monty in the first place, is I just painted like a big ball and then started refining the fluff inside. So it was all just shapy. The lessons and the discount codes. What would you like to know about the discount codes? Excuse me. October 1st, you'll receive a discount code. Is it valid for all the lessons? You will not receive codes or the latest lesson on the 1st. The rewards go out on the 9th. This gives the Patreon pledge collection system time, because I have had hiccups in the past. So I wait a full week, actually more than a full week, to get that stuff out so that everybody has their pledge collected and nobody gets left out. And when the rewards go out, I will send you a message in your inbox for on Patreon, where you will get a link to the Dropbox folder of the episode and related content. And in that same message, you will get a code, a new code. And then you will input that code at point of purchase, and it is applicable to all lessons, regardless of the lesson's price. It's 25% discount. I kind of like this eraser brush I'm using, because it's creating a broken edge, which makes it feel fluffy. So according to the rules of light, the primary rule is perpendicularity to light. And fluffy things have to obey this also. But the thing that makes fluffy fluffy is that part of the fluff points towards the light source, which means at the point where you think it would be the brightest, it is not. Yeah, hopefully that explains everything. Thanks for asking, Sergio. And the code, so the code will last for a full month. So when the code goes out, it's on the 9th, and then it's good until the 9th of the next month. And the same thing is true for the all of the links to the lessons and things like that, because if you can't download them right away, but just be sure to do that. We've had issues in the past because all links, everything does expire. So make sure to collect all your goodies as soon as you possibly can. All right, we'll just get the eyes in now and stop pussyfooting around, and then we can render out more. Because I haven't rendered anything else. It's kind of crazy that the slippers are super rendered, right? Monty! These legs definitely need to be prosthetics, as it makes the slippers beautifully redundant. Well, okay, so how would we define that? To make them prosthetics, we need to maybe add some hinges or something that really hints that they're fake, that they are not part of his body. Oh, this is good times. All right, let's work out the rest of this. We've done too much in one spot. On this TV for a minute. Right now the concern is just to get roughly the right color and value in the right spot. I'm not fussing too much with the drawing of it. Are all the feedbacks in Discord for subs of Student Plus tier? On the Discord, no. That's just if I have time and I happen to be on there and somebody's posted stuff, I'll give feedback. But what's most important about the Discords is you're going to get feedback from your peers. And they're very generous with their time. They've been so good. And they're like, a lot of them are getting to the point where I don't need to say anything. They know exactly what's going on. It's been really cool to watch that growth. So, I believe you have access to the Discord already. If you want to start getting help, start posting on the Discord, interacting, help the community, contribute, and I guarantee you they will respond in kind. They're really good people. That's true of a lot of any social media too. If you're an artist and you're looking to get feedback, this is something that I've had asked many times. Is like, how do I get? I always heard about the old days on conceptart.org and things like that, where people were so friendly and they all helped each other out. And it seems like it's not like that anymore. How do I get it to be like that? The only way to experience that is to basically do it. You need to be that. So if you want help people. And be there, be part of the community. You have to create the community that you want to see. Yeah. Oh, that's an awesome squad. This is a CRT TV. Many of you are not familiar with this. I'm realizing that as I'm painting it. Like, this is a shape that I know all too well, but they don't really exist anymore. Just in cartoons. Okay. See, it's not even important that when you're doing this kind of style, this more cartoony, shapy color stuff, it's more about those elements than it really is about rendering. So as long as you get the right colors in the right spot, it'll feel pretty good. But to do that, and to do it with like sort of conscious intent, you need to really study reality and how light behaves. Where you're going to see ambient occlusions, where you're going to see, and why. Like, the behaviors of the light dictate so much about the decisions that you're going to make. I'm always impressed with the animation artists, like the concept artists and the keyframe artists that work in animation. They're not doing actual animation, but they're contributing in that they're helping show what things will look like, how quickly they can do this stuff, like indication through stylization. It's kind of amazing. So those incredible artists are who I'm trying to mimic right now. Craig Mullins is 100% correct. It is absolutely more about the shape, the color, and the value than it is anything else. If you can get all of those and put them in the right spot, then you don't need anything else. You're done. And that kind of approach is very much what a lot of the old masters would do. I'm thinking in particular like Sargent, where it would be in alla prima, right? So you're painting like stroke for stroke. That's it. That's the last thing that's going to be on that surface. You just boom, you're done. So you have to think about, you have to be very careful and cognizant of what color is going to be there, what value is going to be there. And that kind of study forces you to think about that accuracy. Did I ever read the book Alla Prima by Richard Schmidt? That is one of the few books that went with me on my boat. Alla Prima by Richard Schmidt, the James Gurney books, and Framed Ink. Those were all. There was a couple other art books that went with me. I only had room for 13 books, and Alla Prima made the cut. So that should let you know how valuable that book is. It is brilliant. He's also done some videos or something in the last few years, from what I've heard. I haven't seen them yet, but he's very good. And he also adheres to that, the right shape, the right color, and the right value in the right place. And boom, you're done. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. The original printing was like maybe 10 years ago or something like that, 8 years ago, and it's probably out of print currently. So yeah, it's going to be of greater value. It's a great book. Keep an eye out for used copies. And push come to shove, I mean, I'm sure somebody's made a torrent of it. But I do recommend supporting the artist, because it is packed with information that that has contributed absolutely to the logic of light and color. I have a lesson, in fact, I think I have one lesson that is very much devoted to some of his philosophies. It was 100 when you bought it? Oh, the second one, that's right. He did some edits to it. I forgot about that. Yeah, get the second one instead. You know, I can't remember which one it was, but the premise came down to put the right color in the right color, right value, and right shape in the right place. I think it might have been simplifying. I didn't use everything he had in the book, because obviously I didn't want to step on his toes, but he has some great knowledge to share that I felt was applicable to the lesson. What I'm trying to do here is imply the cast shadow from, so it's a single light source, right? that's casting the shadows from the pillow or the beanbag or the love sack, if you will, that the Doodlebug is sitting on, and it's also casting his shadow of his little bit of head and his collar and his antenna. But it's a different distance, so I want the edge to be softer. So that's what I'm aiming for. It's not quite there yet, but we'll keep at it. Speaking of all this stuff, like, and lighting in general, I'm teaching myself Unreal. Holy crap, the lighting engine in that is insane. I cannot believe it's real-time game engine lighting. It's so good. Like, I've been spending so much time in the last several months trying to teach myself Blender, and here this thing comes along, and it's so powerful. Is it a 3D program? Yes, it's a game engine by Epic, and what it will allow you to do is it's an all-in-one in some ways too. No, I guess not. It's a little less all-in-one. Like, Blender has everything. Like, everything that you can do in 3D can be done in Blender direct with the source. But with Unreal, it's like an animation tool, a game dev tool. They've set it up so that you can make movies with it. And what's incredible is it's completely free license. So as long as you're just, whatever you're making, you own it. You don't owe them anything. And it's a really, really powerful tool. But if you end up making a game with it, then they get a small percentage of your sales from the game above a certain, like, pretty insane price for game sales. So it's like, it's just a win-win. And I have a feeling that it's a power move. They're looking to completely alter the game industry sort of backbone so that everything is built on their software. Their fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. But the engine, I think they're hoping that the engine will be the future of gaming and filmmaking. If you look up the making of The Mandalorian, they used Unreal for that, which is so crazy. Yeah, it's one of the top two. It's up there with Unity. Yeah, platform. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. I swear, I'm only slightly drunk when I do these. So I'm knocking down the banding that was coming from my my brush a little bit. So this is a detail that I've added, this poster or whatever it's going to be, that is close enough that it actually has to be figured out. I can't just do like kind of a little blob and call it good. So I'm going to have to figure out a pun or something for that too. I've given myself so much work here. But we'll leave it for now. Maybe something will come as I work. We need a little bit more color variety in here. I want to get some... Okay, this background's looking pretty smooth. I think I need to pull shadow here, but I know that the TV is going to be on, so I'm thinking there might be a bloom there, so it might be better to just leave it alone for now, and then I'll add the bloom. Because the bloom is, I haven't lit anything according to the TV yet, and that's actually a major hole in this design right now. Whoops. You can do architectural structures for reference very easy, but for organic stuff it gets a little bit tricky. On Blender or on Unreal? Is Unreal hard to learn? I don't think it's any harder than something else. Unreal it's just a different kind of tool. I'm doing the basic lessons. I mean, one of the cool things about Unreal is that Epic dropped tons of free tutorial packages that you can watch from their uploader, their launcher. So I should totally be getting a back end on this. Come on, right? But you can watch, basically from what I understand, by watching those tutorials, you can make a game, you can make a movie by the end of it with the assets that they give you. And they give you tons of super high-end assets. They're already rigged. Some of them already have animations. There's tons of backgrounds. And then sort of like what Christina was doing, you can find and download assets from different websites that catalog this stuff and put them into your game or your movie or whatever and use it. You know, you've paid for the royalties and all that, so you can go hog wild and make whatever you want. So I can see how it will definitely be useful for concept artists going in the future. I don't know necessarily about illustration in that way. I think Blender is pretty much the same thing. But what I like about it and what is of interest to me is because this game that I'm going to be working on is probably going to be done on Unreal. As an art director, I'd be able to have a much... I want to develop the language. So this is that language thing, right? I need to learn the tools that everybody else is going to be using so that I'm not going to be this dipshit that's saying it's too cartoony. You know what I'm saying? You could just kit bash your older paintings of Monty into the poster. That's true. I could do that. Ooh, maybe he's watching the Monty show. I like it. You know what? I think, Dan Robb, you're onto something. Do I have a list of recommended books somewhere on the Discord and in order to read them? I do not have something like that. I think... Do I? Did we talk about books, Irina? Do you remember? There might be a book list. If there is, it'll be in the pinned messages of... Check the... I think there's a resources channel or something to that effect. And there might be a pinned book. Or there might even, if you just do a search in that channel for books, you might find something. I recommend books based on the stuff that you need. I don't necessarily have like a what's the word? A curriculum of books to read. I feel like that's up to you. But if you have specific questions or specific interests that you're trying to focus on, bring them up on the Discord. We can all talk about them and see if we can find some stuff for you that would be useful. Okay, let's work on the couch love sack thing a little bit. I used to have a love sack. I love these things. They're so great. I would sleep on it just as much as I slept on my own bed. They're ugly as sin and they take up a shitload of space, but they're so comfy. Mine was like a dark chocolatey brown and I called it the brown cloud. It was very off-putting, so nobody ever slept on nobody would use the brown cloud after I told them I called it the brown cloud, which is fine because then I got to sleep on it. I miss the brown cloud. I'm gonna have to get another one of those. But you know what? That was when Kova was a puppy, and if she was out of her crate and I turned my back on her for 1 second, she would piss in that thing. And oh my God, that dog, a challenge, let me tell you. So I had to replace, they're not cheap. I had to take it in to be cleaned once because she peed in it. And then finally I got so frustrated I threw it out and bought a new one. And then she peed in the new one. The dog is lucky it's alive right now. The brown rooster. I don't get it. What are you talking about? Sana, welcome. How's it going? Yeah, the brown cloud was magic. I used to play all my games on it. It was like my gaming chair. So I sat in it very much like this with my legs kicked up. Totally. With my little Monty slippers. That's a normal I'm a normal human, man. What? I don't know why I'm making it the same color of shitty brown, but I guess just talking about the brown cloud made me miss it so much. The Doodlebug definitely needs something more decorative. So let's just use this as our lighting pattern, our plan for the light, and we will come up with something better for the color itself. Because I think this Doodlebug is probably pretty fashionable, you know? He's not quite like Aziz Ansari, but close. He likes to treat himself. Let us just hit it with a hue and saturation. See if something comes to mind. Ooh, green and purple is a nice mix. Blue? Really rich dark magenta. I don't know, what do you all think? You seeing anything you like? Maybe kind of a gray blue. This looks like a scene from Metamorphosis. I'm trying to remember what that is. Metamorphosis. It's an animation, I'm assuming. I don't know. Working on a character design, that's fun. Light turquoise, let's see what that looks like. It's not quite turquoise, but... It's an interesting idea. Let's see. Let's hit OK and just let's roll with that for a second. Let's flip it and take a look. Oh, a book. Oh, okay. Okay, I know the one you're talking about now. Good idea, Arena. We're going to keep it. We're shipping it. Perfect. See? Doesn't that feel good to hear that? Good job. You did it great. First time out. Yay! Oh, Franz Kafka. I thought you meant Michael Kafka. Let's see. I definitely want it to feel pillowy, like it's kind of hugging him, because that's what my love sack did. Yep. That was made into a movie. That's why I thought about it, and I think it is the Kafka story. I am painting. It might be driving you nuts that I'm not actually painting the figure yet, but I always try to paint back to front and save the fun stuff for last, because you can end up bored and tired out before you finish the painting. So this is a specific kind of discipline that I recommend for your paintings, so that you build up towards your final details and the whole painting feels complete together. If you over-render one spot, it's very obvious in the final painting where the love was given. So you want to build up the love everywhere. Yeah, depressing existentialist nightmares. I love books like that are real, pink thinkers, but Even though I can enjoy them, I can only read them once. So like, what was it? 1984. I loved it. Brilliant book. I'll never read it again. It's so fucking depressing. Handmaid's Tale. Genius book. So incredible. I will never fucking read that book again. I mentioned it before, actually. That I didn't read it like with a book. It was an audio book, and it was performed by Claire Danes. Whew. So good. I was entranced. I looked just like Doodlebug. I was like, it's crazy. The Road, yeah, I won't read The Road again. They're beautiful books, but they're just, I mean, they take it out of you. Okay, so of course we need to, I'm thinking about bounce lights. And by implementing them now, I don't normally do this for my lessons. I like to show one light source at a time because it's easier to process and it's easier for people to kind of imagine, okay, I flip on this light and now this is behaving this way. But it's, as you progress, part of the Schmidt idea and the idea of putting the right color and the right shape and the right value in the right place is to be aware of how all of the light is behaving all at once. This is very much like if you were working with a 3D program like Unreal. You have to think about if you want to do it quickly and you want to like be accurate and things like that, you need to spend the processing power to start thinking about how all the light is behaving at the same time. But that's a challenge in and of itself. It takes a great deal of effort and experience to do it that way. So you got to build up that skill by first understanding all the basic rules of light and then expanding the ray tracing numbers. So you start with no bounce. You just start with a light in a vacuum. Then you start with one bounce off of one object onto the next object, and then continue from there and add more and more bounces, which in every real way is actually you creating more light sources in your painting, because every bounce light is now a new light source and it behaves according to the rules of light. So it can get really complicated really fast. And to do it out of your head is very much about just managing that logic. That's why I count on the logic, and why I like to teach it as a logic rather than as a sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a paint by numbers type thing. Because if you're thinking about the behavior of the light as a if this then that type of thing, then it's easier to problem solve as you're building. It's easier to communicate it. It takes all the like kind of the bullshit magic out of the descriptions of the artwork and how the light behaves. I'm not interested in any of that. I just want it to make sense. I kind of feel like the pillow needs to be something too now. Oh god, I'm just making my job so much harder. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it could be like a little leaf, since we kind of got a green, like a puffy leaf. We got this turquoisiness. Do I leave sketch lines as part of the final texture? Sometimes I do. I don't think about them. I don't even bother with them unless they are creating something that is causing problems. And by virtue of that laziness, they can become part of the texture, part of the illustration. And what's cool about that is it looks like it's on purpose. I'm dimming down some of the lights on top of the pillow because I don't, and when I say on top, I mean on the edge that's here, because as a compositional element, if you have really strong contrast at the edge of your painting, you're going to create a tangency, which is going to draw the eye to the edge of the painting. So you want to keep, it's just like we're framing in here. You want to keep the frame of focus in the picture plane where it's not uncomfortable. If I'm, over here and I'm talking to you like this the whole time, this is uncomfortable. It looks weird, right? Because the information that is meant to be seen isn't clearly communicated. So you want to downplay information that's towards the edges to lessen the chances of tangencies in your paintings. I don't want to touch the antenna with this little leaf bit, this little nub, but at the same time I need the nub to kind of read like the other ones, so I want it to come up higher. When you're working in composition and you're trying to do it from the beginning, so much of composition is just managing your tangencies and preventing tangencies. So if you can nip them in the bud, as it were, before it happens, you're going to save yourself a lot of weeping down the line. I like the colors that are there, so I'm hesitant to get rid of them, but they are counter to everything I just told you about edges and tangencies. But, big but, like mine. The thing to consider is I'm not done with the painting. I'm going to have a whole other light source coming from the TV. There's going to be a lot more contrast on Doodlebug. So there's a chance, and it's a gamble I'm willing to take right now, that color is going to be not the strongest contrast that we will see. What do you want me to explain about tangencies, Arena? How can I help? Oh, I didn't stretch so good this morning. When you get old, you gotta stretch after getting up. So old. Yeah, I have a hard time with slouching too. I slouch so damn much. Okay, let's ignore the pillow for a little bit and move on to someplace else. Give it a little bit of a rest. Skis, please. some Doodlebug shag carpet, because fucking why not? I don't know if you heard me, Arena. Can you explain a little bit more what it is you're looking to learn from about tangencies? So I can narrow down the scope for you. Why do they be like they do? They just do be like they do. That's what tangencies be. For real. No, so I'm gonna try and guess. I still am not really sure, but tangencies are points of discomfort in a composition. I actually have several in this painting right now. Maybe we'll take a second, see if you can see some of them. Tangencies are points of discomfort in that because you are looking at a built or a constructed two-dimensional image, the tendency is to not see it as a three-dimensional thing. Tangencies happen in photos too, but they matter way less because you know that in a photo what you're seeing is real. So when a tangency happens in a photo, especially if it's done with purpose and it's done well, will make a photo look or feel surreal. Body shape with the pillow is the biggest one. Yes, very good. So in illustration, in drawing, tangencies can happen when you have a shape that is butting up directly next to another shape, which is killing the three-dimensionality of your image. So when things are touching point to point, when things are sitting right inside of each other's shapes, when you have points of tension near edges, these can create all sorts of tangencies. So as Avid said, right here we have, we'll do a quick crit of Izzy's shitty painting. As long as you know this stuff is there, then you know to look for it and you can fix it later. But so I have a tangency of this line right here and this pillow right here, where they're just too close. They're just too similar. This is what I would call a rhythmic tangency, where it's just too much the same, and the sameness creates a point of discomfort. It's just this part that draws the eye. There's that sliver there. And it's unconscious, just draws the eye. Here's another one. The point of the knee is on the same line as the body itself. Do you see it? These are some bad ones down here. I have really sharp contrast details right next to the edge. I have arrows that are pointing into the edge. You see? Here, this is an uncomfortable cut. Either make sure that when you have a tangency that you've recognized, that you make the cut clearly way far away from wherever that tangency is happening, or you make sure that it's completely inside the frame. You see what I'm saying? And problems with the sameness when creating folds on close. Folds on close is one of my biggest weaknesses when it comes to rhythmic tangencies. So my propensity, like let's say, let's delete our lines right now. Let's say this thing is wearing some pants, right? So one of the things I'll always do is when I'm drawing the lines for the wrinkles, I will just continually draw the same shape in the same way. And it looks awful when you see it just as line work like this. But when you've painted it and you've actually lit it, you don't notice it as much because it's following the rules of the light technically. But if these are always the same size and the same length, they look wrong. So that's a rhythmic tangency. I have one, but I think I kind of get away with it right here with the top of Doodlebug's head and his collar. What I'll probably do is I'm going to break it either that way and let the little dome of his noggin come free from his fluffy collar, or I can go the other way and bring up the fluffy collar and then make his dome of the head clearly inside the fluffy collar. But there has to be clear communication about what is happening there. Otherwise, the eye and the brain of your viewer is going to fixate on it, and it's going to be an uncomfortable point. Whoops, sorry. You just have to get refs for all your clothes. Yeah, you got to learn the proper rhythms for how clothes wrinkle, combine that with your knowledge of the logic of light and color, and then you'll be able to do that stuff out of your head. But in lieu of the reference, or to check your reference, because again, sometimes photos can be accurate but visually unpleasing or non-pleasing when you're doing your painting from it. So you still have to be decisive and make sure that you are avoiding tangencies even if you're working from reference. And these are exactly the kind of tangencies you're likely to find. They're more common when you work from photos and from life, because you just accept what is there because it's there, it's real. So of course it works, right? No, you have to curate what you see. So I have my TV on a separate layer. I won't worry about that right now. What I will worry about is the layer I'm on, and I'm going to suss out this carpet. All right. Let's move up to the next layer. Back onto the couch thing. Okay. One of the things I love to indicate when I'm painting is gravity and weight. One of the best ways to do that is with compression wrinkles. But it has to follow that logic. Hopefully, just in me describing, your job as an illustrator with ray tracing and things like that, you're already seeing things that need to be done, right? If you were silently screaming internally about reflected light, then yeah, you're right. Hmm. You see the new tangency I just created? I want to dig into the pit of the pillow a little bit more. I'm really pushing the contact shadows here because I want it to feel like he's really nested in this thing. There's two ways to do that. There's either you can make really big contact shadows like I did up top, or you can make very sharp contact shadows like I'm doing down on the bottom. Both will have the effect of making something feel deep, but it's about doing it the right one in the right spot kind of deal. We're definitely going to deal with this tangency right now. See how it feels a little bit more natural now? Okay. I grab the whole TV. And I'm going to try and, I'm just changing the size of the thing and the pitch of the thing just to handle all my tangencies at once. So turn that off, turn it on, you can see. So I had the tangency over here. That's it, whoops. Oh shit, now I gotta retransform it because I drew like a dumbass. But I have the tangency on the edge here, I have the tangency down here, this tangency here. Those are the big ones. So let's do that again. Let's increase the size, just to rotate it a little bit. Yeah. And I'm also going to, real quick, give myself a note. This is too much, of course, but I just want to see what kind of light will come off of this thing. This is just notes for me thinking. It's much less, when you're working with light sources like this, where the light source is not visible in the shot, it's not so much about showing the light in the atmosphere that's going to make something feel bright. It's actually more how the light affects the environment that makes it feel bright. But what I'm doing is I'm kind of giving myself just a little slight bit of bloom, and I'm using it to give myself directionality. So this is a cheat. It's not really, I may not even have this in the final image, this green sort of light I've implied. But I really need to think about it now in real time because it's going to affect a lot of the lighting that's going on here. The mistakes were made layer needs to come outside now. We're going to go ahead and group that with the Monty slippers. And I'm going to move the legs just a bit to break the tangency that we had with the knee. Yes. Yes. All that is good is happening right now. All right. So the TV light source is going to definitely fill these shadows. So I'm going to have to figure something out for that. This is why I did this then. Throwing in speculars for where that light's going to be because it's, again, it's giving me my light direction. Uh-oh. Whoa-oh. I'm painting on the actual legs. Alert. This is beyond wrong. Oh no! I did something to the... Uh-oh. Alright, I gotta back up. Let's see if I can undo. I did some kind of selection thing which made him poopy. Did you guys notice when that happened? I didn't even see it. Boo! Alright, well I gotta go in and fix it now. I didn't even notice that. If I labeled, that wasn't a labeling issue. That was absolutely some kind of weird artifacting that happened from a selection, it looks like. Don't know. In fact, labeling would have worked against me. How about that? How you like me now? Lies! Alright, so we're still thinking about that lighting. Doesn't have to be perfect, we just got to get it on there. No! No, don't you dare. No! I refuse. I can't do it. I can't name any layers. Oh, goddamn. I will not begin naming layers. I don't care how much you guys punish me. It's not happening. You think you're gonna Bart Simpson me into this? That's not gonna happen. I don't even think you can fit that all in there. I should have named my layers! Exclamation. I should have named. That's a good name for a layer. Cool. Ha! You bastards. Nope. Nope. I refuse to accept this. Ah! See what you did? You ruined everything. Tripping over his own mess. I would hardly call that what is happening. I am not tripping. I am in total control. I am a Photoshop Olympiad. I will hear no claims against me. I have spoken. His little legs. Oh my god. Oh my god, I love the Doodlebug. It's my new favoriteest thing in the whole world. I'll learn what one day? I already forgot what the lesson was. I don't know what you guys are talking about. God damn it. I am removing that option. See, if you're actively trying to mess up my layer names, then how is that helping? I'm not learning my lesson then. Not front ground. I do not accept. I do not accept. Let me do this foreground thing real quick first. I don't even know what it's gonna be. Some kind of buggy coffee table, I guess. What about... This is very Photoshop niche. Can do a GIF by gathering all the GIF. It's a GIF. Don't. I'll fight you. I'll fight you. You can do a GIF by gathering all the TV lights in the same layer and playing with the opacity. Yeah, that's true. definitely can keep that on a separate layer. Kind of thinking like an Ottoman type device here. Like a cute, kitschy. I'm just ready. Graphics. You have no idea how many times I've been berated for my pronunciation of GIF. People are very passionate about that. I tells ya. Oh, it is a poof. You're right. GIF is not a trigger word. Trigger word. Doodlebug is. Doodlebug. Come on, say it. It's pretty fun. Doodlebug. Oh. He has the mind of a child. Is that really? I didn't see that. The V1 flying bombs were called Doodlebugs? Huh. You'll have to put up a picture of that. I'm curious. Does it look like my Doodlebug? Because if it did, that would be quite fortuitous. Huh. No, it didn't work. Come on now. A V1 flying bomb. Okay, so it was a bomb. It was a bomb with wings. The Doodlebug. Really? That does not look like a Doodlebug. That thing looks like a rocket shark. All of your electrics tripped out after you asked a question about Chanted. She's, oh, I'm sorry, Arena. That sucks. I did go into them in depth. I will be posting it on YouTube, so I don't know when. It may be a little while, but sorry about that. That sucks. Yeah, I'm going to have to start uploading the next... everything's expiring. I definitely missed some episodes that are not getting archived. That's not good. Oh well. Oops, I forgot to change the name of this show. We gotta change the name. It's Squiz, episode 36. I guess we're doing the Doodlebug. Doodlebug. Ha. All right, updated. Yeah, no worries. We'll see you next time, Arena. Sorry about that. Get some rest. You heard them in the air and then silence. That meant the fuel had run out and it was coming down. Wow. One landed in the street by your dad's childhood home? What? Holy shit. That's terrifying. Oh my god. So it was sort of like it was a rocket bomb. Yeah. Wow. It wasn't like a fly-by-wire or anything, right? They couldn't control it. No, they do have a guidance system. Used by an autopilot using gyroscopes. Wow. What an interesting thing. And also awful. Holy shit. Did your aunt survive? Oh my god. Well, that kind of kills the vibe on my Doodlebug drawing. Thanks. Jeez, Hammy. Well, I'm still going to say Doodlebug because it's cute. Oh, good. I'm glad she survived. Jesus. What a hellish thing to experience. That's really scary. She loves to tell that story? I bet. It's a good one. I don't know what's happening there. That's weird. Whatever. Whatever. Oops. That doesn't work because that is on a different layer. I am smart. Is it an apple poof? I was kind of thinking an acorn, but it kind of looks like an apple too. I don't know. Maybe I need to like better define the kind of little acorn texture thing. I don't know. Real quick, let us shade the legs. Okay, there's nothing in that layer. That's an empty guy. Let's grab the Doodlebug. Name the layer, because we're learning our lessons. Alright, multiply. Oh, you found the Doodlebug's whine. Try the whine. I will have to give that a listen later. Let's go ahead and knock back that the whole pillow now and see if that helps us here. I definitely got to start refining some of the form of the Doodlebug. And I'm doing all of that in a multiply layer right now. We'll definitely go in later and do an opaque on top, but every little bit that helps describe light and form helps. What is the leg's material? Mannequin plastic? I don't know. I haven't really thought about that yet. We definitely need to refine it. If it's meant to be like little sort of, I don't know, prosthetic legs he's wearing. You have to think about connection, material. Definitely kind of add in some kind of seam. He's got little cybernetic legs for some reason. You want to change it from Monty to the Doodlebug himself? Wait, what? I think you've been smoking too much Mandelbrot. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, okay, now I see what you're saying. Okay, I had to think about it. Oh, wow. All right. It's an elaborate set of slippers itself. Like he puts his feet into the prosthetics to keep the feet warm, his little nubbins. Oh, Hammy, you're a weird dude. You're a real weird dude. Gotta tell you. He puts them on to watch TV. Your mind is broken, man. It's broken. Why you gotta hurt Doodlebug like this? Why you gotta do Doodlebug like this? Come on, man. Come on. Yes, you are. I think that's just a baseline English, though. Going in and cleaning up some of these lines because they're just a little too strong, and I didn't, when I did the first initial sketch, I did not clean up the line edges very well, or didn't at all actually. So the line, it feels like full ink basically. Where's the remote? Oh, come on now. This is no remote. This is when you're one of those old ones. You got to go up there and go chunk, chunk, chunk to change the channel. It's a big dial on it. Nobody knows that sound anymore. The only reason I know it is because my first TV was a garbage TV that I found in the trash, and it was like a 75 or 80 pound CRT old school tube. It still had the wood casing. It was like this big, and the screen was like this big, and it had the wood casing with the rattan speaker covers and all of that, and it had these big chung 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 knobs that when you turned it, like the whole thing, it would make this like chunky, nuclear reactor doors shutting sound. It was crazy. Huge. And totally, it only had like 6 channels and was black and white. So my first TV in the 80s, no, not even the 80s. And yeah, I guess I was like late 80s, was a black and white like chunker that I found in the garbage. Dumpster diving since birth. I think I want to bring our... Yeah. Let's bring the light sources up on top. So I'm in a unique position here with the eyes and with any specular picking up object because there's another light source in here other than the TV. It's the light source that's creating these cast shadows that we've got, so I have to include it somehow. Omi Dusk, welcome. Hi, how's it going? Glad you could join us. I'm good, I'm good. We are painting the Doodlebug. Trying to figure out some complex lighting in a really weird little scene. Yeah, lighting is the challenge. This might be the wrong color for this. It feels a little bit too strongly of artificial light, but it could be just that I'm working against the other colors of the light in the wrong way. We'll see. I wanted the local color for the Doodlebug's flesh to be kind of pillowy and cartoony. I need to fix my cast shadow because I did not follow my light source at all. Like a dink. So this needs to be warmed up pretty significantly. It's definitely a skill set. I want to keep that pinky purple. Maybe I went too far into the warming. Yeah, that's a bit better. I'm a skill set? Well, I've been called worse things, I suppose. You picked up the James Gurney book? Awesome. Well, in a lot of ways, I love James's books. I have them all. But I think his books tend to be a little bit more advanced. They're what I would call so when I'm teaching painting, I try to come at it from pure fundamentals first and explain things in a language that's more I don't know. I definitely use the verbiage of painting, but I want to use the language that will make it easier to communicate these concepts. And a lot of really high-end painters like James, they get so good, and they're at such an advanced level that sometimes when they cover teaching stuff, it's hard to follow. You got to have those books; it's guaranteed. But I do remember when I was reading, I was like, "Oh, damn! This is some advanced shit you're talking about." Actually, Schmidt does that too. Scott Robertson, yeah. Oh God, Scott Robertson was one of my teachers at school, and his class was incredible because he covered so much stuff and it was so in depth. But his presentation was impossible to follow. It was so dense. I straight up fell asleep in Scott's class a couple times. But the information is so good. I really need to pick up those books. I didn't have them way back when. Obviously, when I was in his class, he hadn't done the books yet. But I think Design Studio Press was just getting started. The Skillful Huntsman came out. A lot of the students that I was in that class with contributed to the Skillful Huntsman, which was, I think, his first one. Holy shit, you are not joking, my friend. Art Center is one of the most expensive art schools on the goddamn planet. It's insane. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I loved going to Art Center. I learned so much. I made so many friends. I would totally do it again. But the price is just... I mean, you might as well just buy a house at this point. What sucks is, I have a lot of really good friends that I went to school with, and they were not successful in getting the work right away. And some of them are still deeply in debt, and God, it breaks my heart. It's a cruel system we've got in the schools. The private schools and the for-profit schools have absolutely capitalized on it. It's very upsetting. I hate debt. Deeply, deeply hate debt. I do everything I can to buy everything that I ever purchase cash on the barrelhead, but I learned my hatred from growing up as I did, but also from Art Center. And they were so predatory. I remember, I'm just this dumbass kid. I didn't even think I was going to go to school. I had no money at all. So I went through school entirely on loans. And the loan officers would just give you a pen and be like, you need the money. Here you go. I put this together for you. It's, $60,000 at 13%. Amortized every fucking however many months. It's disgusting. I did learn really good system for paying off my loans, which I found super useful. And ironically, I learned it from my anatomy teacher, who was Ray Bustos, who we've talked about in the class. I remember one day he came in. He was a big fan of the PT Cruisers back in the day, which were a car that was designed by alums from Art Center. And he had bought himself this little model PT Cruiser, like RC Control one, and he was buzzing it around in the classroom, and we were like, "Oh, what's the occasion? What is this all about?" He's like, "It's my new PT Cruiser model." I think he already had the car, and he was like, "I'm celebrating. I finished paying off my student loans." Like, he's full on, teaching at Art Center, went to Art Center, and only just finished paying off the loans. And he said his secret to paying them off as quick as he did, again, minding that this was, some 15, 20 years in the making, was that what he would do is when you take out all these loans, you're taking out like half dozen or more different loans, and then they combine them all together. They'll be from different institutions, all sorts of stuff. And then what you can do is at the end, when you're out, you can put them all together. You can change. You can fight for changes to how you pay your loans or how much you can pay for your loans. But what he did that I liked, he didn't consolidate them. What he did is he would pay all of his loans and pay the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? The minimal, which is just the interest, right? So he'd pay the interest for most of them and then pay down the principal on one, pay it all completely off. And then once that was done, he would take all of the money that he was paying to that. He still didn't consider it his own money, and then would dump all of that into the next one. And what it does is it creates a snowball effect, so that by the time you're getting to the last couple of loans, you're paying thousands of dollars a month on your loans, and they go by way faster. So my loan, I managed to finish paying my loans off in like 5 or 6 years after getting out of school. But I worked my ass off, and I did exactly that. What I did is, I always lived below my means. I lived like I was still a student for years after getting out of college. I had a full-time job where I was making, decent cash, but I didn't spend any of that on myself. I put it all towards the loans because I wanted to get rid of them as fast as possible. And then as soon as I finished one, I didn't consider that now my money. I used that money to pay on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And it decimated them really fast. Price is worse than being a lawyer? Fuck yeah, it is. The price is equivalent to like getting a doctorate in some disciplines. Did get your portfolios looked at by an EA concept artist? That's great. Congrats. So 30 grand on your loans from the IT degree. You paid off 50. My finishing, because I didn't have any money going to school, so my loans also paid for housing and food. My finishing loans for Art Center when I left was just shy of 150K. And that was a lot of money. That's more money I've ever had. Yeah, it was fucking awful. And they do it with a smile, man. It's gross. I'm just super fortunate. I had worked with and met the right people and managed to get my foot in the door really quick. I got work, just maybe a couple months after graduating in the industry. I was a very lucky guy. Very lucky guy. I mean, I also hustled like crazy, but that's not everything. Is this a screen layer? This feels like a screen layer. What is happening here? This is weird. No, I guess not. Yep, it's 100% a continuation of debtor's prison and wage slaving. I mean, it's disgusting. I think we're finding, especially with the way things are going these days, with the working class economy rather than Wall Street, and with politics the way they are, that our system is really broken. It's absolutely not a meritocracy, I can tell you that. Sergio asks, do I paint on a tablet or a Cintiq? I use a tablet. I am very anti-Cintiqs. I do not like them for so many reasons. But they are the industry standard for a lot of people. I want to imply a little bit of subsurface scattering here. I want this this abdomen to feel real juicy, like it's full of bug guts. Doodlebug guts. Excuse. I want it to feel like bug bits, but also cute. So not necessarily gross. But I want to capture the material feeling of it. So we're stylizing the material in order to create a more cute, pretty effect. I think there was a video I saw about the financial system structured in a debt. Yeah. The more debt, yeah, that's 100% how this system works. That's a corporatist oligarchy that we are experiencing. You cannot have obscene, unspendable wealth without exploiting the working class, or basically demolishing it. And what's interesting about how the economic systems have transformed over the years in order to benefit the ultra wealthy is that it's happening everywhere, all around the world simultaneously. It's like this, it's a perfect coup. And it's been in the works for a long time. But we also have to, as the working class, as middle or lower class, we also have to accept a bit of responsibility for allowing it to happen. In some ways, they've made everything really comfortable. They've made the chains comfortable, where we've started consuming the, oh shit, what's that stuff called from Brave New World? The drug? Soma. We've started consuming the Soma. We should have really started worrying when we realized that we were the assets, that we were the resources, data mining and all that shit. It's like, damn, this shit is dystopian crazy. Yeah, we did let it happen. It was on our watch. On our parents' watch, and people sacrificed that knowledge for comfort and entertainment. It is what it is. Why do I dislike screens? Well, so for the Cintiq, it's a number of things. The screen, when you're drawing on the screen, there's a plate that's between the surface of your pencil or your stylus and the screen, and that separation is noticeable to me, so it's not exact. There's a slight delay that's way more visible when you can see the pen right in front of your cursor. They're very warm. I run really warm already. Like, my hands are like pretty sweaty right here just doing this, and I'm in a relatively cool room, You know, you should see my video game controller. It's disgusting. So I like to have as cool a surface to work on as possible. And monitors, I mean, even my monitors in here are generating a little bit of heat. And Cintiq's, I mean, you're sitting on top of the cooling. The whole ventilation system is underneath the monitor. It kind of jets out to the side, but you're constantly being inundated by warmth. There's that. Also, I found, so, you know, let me pull up my sketchbook here. So here's my sketchbook, and all right, we'll just grab a drawing here. So when I'm drawing on this stuff, right, I'm drawing like, I usually draw about this close to the surface that I'm drawing on. Like I get in really close when it's a hard material. Probably the furthest I'll get is about here. And both of those are too close for recommended distances for monitors because you're shining lights directly into your eyes. So you're going to get eye fatigue and all sorts of things, or I do anyway. This is personal preference. I'm not promoting one or the other for anybody else, but this is why I hate them. So the brightness of the light source in my face, my eyes are right up on top of it. It's fatiguing. And then one of the more important ones is my posture. So when I have always, even now, I'm 40 years old, I like to draw on my belly on the floor with my sketchbooks. Or, you know, I'll lay on the bed and draw like a 13-year-old girl writing musing love letters to her favorite band member. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I have terrible posture when I draw, and when I'm drawing leaning over a Cintiq, I get terrible back pain and things like that. And then they have the other ones where you set it up, right? So that's the counter, which is supposed to make it better. So you can set it up so it's vertical. So then you're drawing like this. Well, then I get shoulder and elbow issues, and that's the same kind of stuff that would happen if you were painting all the time, and painting like this, where you're doing tiny micro movements with your shoulder to draw, when really you should be doing that with your wrist. All of the movements, as you're moving your arm in order to do artwork, right? The big broad motion should be first, like body, hips, legs, right? We're talking like big graffiti, right? You want to do a big line with a spray can, you're going to use your whole body to move it. And then it cascades down, so your shoulder is going to be the next thing that moves, and it moves a little bit less. Your elbow a little bit less than that. And then your fine detail should be in the wrist for movements, and then the finest detail is just going to be your fingers, right? Well, you're holding your fingers. I'm already getting tired just doing this. I mean, I am an artist that sits in front of a computer all day, and I'm lazy as hell. But even this, if you're just trying to draw and you're holding your hand out like this, you're going to cause discomfort at first, and then over time you're going to get tendon damage. And that's where you get shit like bursitis and tennis elbows, just from constant use in that position. So there's a few reasons. There's more, but there's just a few. The memes. We need the memes. That's what's going to get us through all of this. Right, Doug? One thing you don't like about screen tablets is people assume all the pros use them, or they'll make you a better artist. There's that. There's absolutely that. I guess one of the big ones also that I didn't even mention is that Cintiqs generally cost like 10 times the amount of a standard tablet. It's just, they have everything working against them. The only benefit they have is really if you are unable to make the transition from working traditionally to having that separation where you're not looking at your hand as it works. That's the only reason I can see actually using one. And to me, that doesn't make sense. Like, I want to get my hand out of the way. But it all comes down to personal preference. So I would never shit on anybody for using one. It's fine with me. Use whatever works best for you. But I think my reasons are sound for why I don't use it. And I don't prefer it. Also, this is my third Intuos in decades. If I was still using, if I started with a Cintiq and this was the same model from the same time, it would be so outdated as to be unusable right now. You do graph, Sergio, for several years. You're used to the arm movement. I did it for quite a bit, especially in school, and I really love it. But in terms of, like, we would do productions and we would do layups on walls and things like that, and it would take like maybe 8 hours, and that would be one day of work. That's it. Try doing that every day for decades. I don't recommend it. You're gonna damage yourself. You think Apple put in a lot of effort to address what I highlighted with the Cintiq? You can draw with the mouse? Oh, I'm confused. What are you saying there, Hammy? Oh, I don't have issues. Oh, I missed a line. Okay, sorry. You don't have issues with the iPad Pro. No, I actually really like drawing on the iPad Pro. The only thing I didn't like was the texture. It was very slick, and I got the paper light. I think that's what it's called. The screen. It's like an adhesive that goes on top that makes it feel a little bit more toothy, like paper. I love drawing on the iPad. It feels like I'm drawing in the sketchbook, but paper-like, yeah, that's it. And what they did with that, I think, is a combination of the screen quality, like the actual, because you don't see pixels when you get in close to it. It's the display. It's Retina display, right? It looks really good. I can control the values. I think it's a better product for that. But even then, I wouldn't want to use it all the time. I did kind of transition to using my iPad when I was doing some magic cards while I was living on the boat because of the power consumption. It handles power way better. It's a powerful device. It didn't really require the same amount of electricity that my big gaming laptop did. But it was good. I enjoyed working on it. I'm not sure if I could make it my permanent pipeline and totally cut out the ease of the keys. But Procreate is such an awesome program. I really, really love Procreate. I feel like they really designed a new application for artists, with artists in mind. So I'm a big nerd for their stuff. So there are times where I will use a tablet, a screen tablet with a stylus, but the iPad is about it. I really don't like the Cintiqs. They're really good, and with the Apple Pencil, the friction's really good. That's true. Yeah, with that paper-like, it's great. Yeah. I think Hammy Thug is a Apple acolyte to the deepest degree, and I am not. I am not an Apple nut. But that said, I do think the iPad Pro and Pencil are incredible pieces of tech, and I will give credit where it is due there for sure. I still hate iPhones. That's true. You have been getting into PCs. That's right. I forgot about that. I'm sorry. I misrepresented you there. You also love Procreate. You love to Procreate. I see what you did there. Oh my goodness. Gang, I've been talking a long time. Look at that. We are almost up to 3 hours, and I'm not done with my Doodlebug. But that's good, because it means that we're going to have something to work on Sunday, or should I do a rando session before then? I love where it's going. This has been a fun collaboration. Thank you guys for being involved. Yeah, it's at a good spot. I think we can definitely see where the intent is. Unfortunately, I did not save the original. Did I? No, I didn't. I don't have the. Where are you at? Come out of there. Oh, I did. I did. So we can see what I've done. I always like to do this is kind of look at the progress that's been made during the day. I try to keep it on a different folder folder so I can see. But yeah, there's lots of big differences. We got some color decisions happening. Some materials are starting to show up. I think it's gonna be a pretty fun painting when we're done. I like where the carapace is going, so that's fun. Do I have snapshots on? I don't even know what that is. I'm assuming that's a Creative Cloud one because again, I'm using Photoshop CS6. I refuse to upgrade. I will not do it. I will not. I have no idea what snapshots is. No response to that, I see. Very well. So yeah, cool. I will leave you all at this point. Thank you for joining me today. It was a really, really fun sketch session. I'm so loving doing Twitch with y'all. If you haven't, consider following. Hit that little notification bell. You can watch the archived episodes so far, missing only a few, on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/IzzyMedrano, and follow on Instagram and Twitter, all with the same. So at Izzy Medrano or at the Izzy Medrano. But yeah, hopefully y'all had fun, learned a little something, enjoyed yourselves, and all that good stuff. Until next time, paint smart, paint sexy. I'm Izzy, a professional writer, concept artist, and illustrator. I've taught painting for a dozen years or so, on and offline. Many of your favorite illustrators and designers have studied with me or under me and have gone on to teach in their own right. You're here because, like they did, you want to learn to paint realistically for illustration or concept art. Well, worry not. You're in the right place. Grab a seat. I want you to join me as I explain all the aspects of image making in extremely digestible and clear monthly lessons. Not through the lens of silly how to paint hair or eye demos. That shit is carnival tricks. And you're not really learning anything except an exact way to render one thing in one manner. This is painting mysticism at its worst. Watching these kinds of exploitative lessons won't help you level up with your understanding. Sure, now you can paint sparkly hair, but what if you want to paint a dragon, or figure out how to render a sea of fire, or depict a one-eyed transgender space marine dying in the vacuum of space? Painting and image making are tools of communication, and can be learned by anyone willing to put in some time. Like grammar is for language, light, color, and form literally follow a formula. Painting well is not a matter of chicken bones, zombie crackers, and the ever-dismissive concept of talent. Learning with my series, Izzy's Logic of Light and Color, will give you the tools and understanding so you can analyze light and form in reality and bring it to life in your work. Using this simple system I have distilled will help you harness your art to share your ideas as you've always intended. When we are children, we all draw in symbols. Symbols for our house, our hands, the sun, the grass, our pet lobster. As we grow into artists, we must learn to throw away symbols and begin to draw and paint what it is we actually see. And as we grow further, we learn to paint beyond what we see and what is actually there. Until finally we move beyond this and learn to trim away what is actually there so we voice only what we want. With me, you're going to have to buckle in and maybe take some pain meds, because I'm going to rip out your normal person's eyes and replace them with a painter's eyes. I'm going to restructure how you see and how you understand what you're seeing. I'm going to turn you into a painting machine. Truly, anyone can learn to paint realistically if they can both determine what they're seeing or imagining with basic and straightforward rules. Once you understand the mechanics of light, color, and form in reality, you will have the capacity to paint anything you can see or imagine realistically. After that, the real fun begins. Here are some of the ways you can join me and master the logic of light and color. The very first lesson of my series is totally free on my YouTube channel. In that lesson, I give you the 3 primary rules of light that are the very foundation of painting and understanding light itself.
If you do nothing else to make your painting mastery easier, at least watch this amazing little lesson. It will do more for your basic understanding of light than just about any tutorial you can find. When you're ready to get deeper and you feel like you have those first rules figured out, allow me to utterly blow your mind with the next episodes available on Gumroad and ArtStation. As we go deeper into the rules underlying the logic of light and color, I carefully and simply explain important and interesting elements. From beginner to pro, there is an amazing amount of information available. Each concept has been distilled into the clearest explanation you're likely to find anywhere. Like episode 2, where we cover the atmospheric effect and how that relates to light, scale, and distance of objects in reality, and how to render it. Or episode 3, where I hand over the ultimate key to controlling value in your paintings. Episodes 5 through 8 are all about rendering materials. Want to understand the logic behind rendering metal, leather, hair, transparency, damn near anything. I even cover the logic behind painting special effects like fire, neon, or lightsabers in later episodes. The lessons just get deeper and more detailed as I build on the foundations covered in preceding episodes. The 10th gives you the most important rule of composition you'll ever learn to keep your images interesting. The next few episodes cover important painting techniques like my edge control ninjutsu or simplification with the large to small system. We dip a toe in color theory, devote a few episodes to finishing full-blown illustrations utilizing the techniques we've learned so far. Some episodes, like the lighting game or Advanced Exercises 1, the shirt, present cheap, valuable, and practical exercises to give you explosive growth in your development. Episodes 22 through 25 cover painting and illustration just like I do for Magic the Gathering, from assignment and inception to signing the painting at the end. Each one is full of tips, knowledge, everything to make working as an illustrator easier. Did you enjoy learning how to paint basic materials? Metal, wood, and such? I got 3 whole episodes devoted to the intricate logic behind painting different kinds of skin. After that, more lessons devoted to pumping life into your portraits and original methods for accurately drawing faces out of your head. From fundamentals to photo bashing, Gumroad and ArtStation have every lesson I create available for purchase a la carte. But here's an even better way to learn with me. Stay current with my latest lessons on Patreon for the lowest price available. Monthly support gets my student that month's lesson, a critique or paint over of their finished work, a discount code for 25% off the entire Gumroad archive, and access to the Logic of Light and Color Discord community, where we plan future lessons, share knowledge, and learn together as a team. The absolute best method is to join my Patreon classroom at the Student Plus tier, where you'll get everything I just mentioned and a free episode from the archive every month to accelerate your mastery at your own pace. You've decided to take control of your painting and master Izzy's logic of light and color. Now it's up to you to choose the path that's best for you. I'll see you on the flip side. Paint smart, paint sexy.